The beacon was supposed to be a quick fix. 20 minutes on an old relay tower, log the repair, then follow the trade lane back to the warm blur of stations and noise. But the storm that owned the ice moon had other plans. It came rolling across the plain like a wall the color of steel, full of needles and whispering teeth. I barely got the crawler into the weatherlock before the world vanished behind a curtain of white. The outpost door cycled with a reluctant sigh. Heat hit me like a soft fist. The room beyond was a long-ribbed cylinder carved into blue ice, warmed by a humming bank of coils salvaged from ships older than my father. It looked empty until she stepped out of the light. She was not human. Her skin refracted the coils in quiet colors, opal and frost, and a veil of thin, translucent fins lay folded along her neck like a scarf. Her eyes were the pale gray of sea glass, and when she breathed, a thread of mist curled and vanished between sharp white teeth. "You're the beacon tech," she said, as if she'd ordered one and I'd arrived late. "Rian Hovel," I said, peeling off a glove. Storm beat me in. She glanced toward the lock. The wind outside clawed the door with patient hands. "Then you'll be here a while." "Looks that way." She was already moving, efficient as a knife. "Seya," she said over her shoulder. "I keep the light for those who forget how to find harbor. Keep your boots on the mat. Keep your hands out of the melt channels. Do not open any door that hums. I'll do my best not to die." I hefted my toolkit. "Show me you're sick. I might as well put the time to use." She led me down a corridor where the ice had been polished to a deep blue shine. We passed alcoves stacked with rods of frozen minerals, a sleeping niche curtained with woven plastic, a shrine of smooth stones warm to the touch. The relay heart throbbed in a chamber near the core, cased in frost. A heat exchanger had cracked along a seam and was bleeding steam into the ice. "A work." She watched, knife and cord on her belt, shadow long against the curved wall. We spoke in pieces, the way storm people do when sound has to be saved. Her voice was low, the consonants softened by a language built for cold air. When the exchanger finally sealed and the frost line steadied, she stepped closer. "You did it." "Temporary," I said. "Storm like this, nothing holds forever." A shiver ran through the coils. The lights dimmed and returned, as if the outpost had blinked. Seya's fins lifted, a ripple of instinct. "The storm has teeth," she said. "It chews at stone. It remembers where we live." Later, we ate at a narrow shelf that pretended to be a table. My stew tasted of metal and salt. Her bowl held clear cubes that steamed faintly and caught the light like glass. She pinched one between two slender fingers, turned it, and slid it into her mouth. "Glacier fruit," she explained when she saw me looking. "It grows under pressure. Sweet as stored summers. You have summers here." I laughed before I could stop myself. "I mean, we have memory," she said, and something old moved behind her eyes. "We press warmth into the ice. We carry it when the world forgets us." The wind lifted outside, then dropped so sudden the silence felt like a slap. A new sound arrived, a deep cracking far below, like an old ship breaking its back. Seya stood before I did, head turned, listening with more than ears. "Array's gone," she said. "The storm walked the cable. External reset." She nodded once. I jammed my gloves back on. "You'll guide me. I'll come with you. No offense, but your skin looks like it was designed to shatter." Her mouth tilted, not quite a smile. "No offense, Rian Hovel, but you don't know what my skin has survived." We leashed ourselves together with a length of braided line. The lock spat us into a night that had devoured the day. The storm reduced the universe to a sphere an arm's length wide. The array mast lurked somewhere beyond, metal stabbed into ice, a black sound in a white world. We moved by feel, 2 points on the same thin thread, and the ice moved under us like something alive. At the mast, my hands went dumb with cold inside my gloves. Seya braced herself against the wind, fins flattened, eyes half closed. We climbed. Lightning halos ran along the guy wires and hissed in my teeth. When the panel finally clicked back into place and the light on the mast turned from tired red to stubborn green, I yelled into the howl. Come on! The return was a different world. The storm had shifted, and somewhere between mast and lock the ice settled with a sigh and a sudden fault. Seya stumbled and the lines snapped tight. For an instant she was airborne, a shard of opal against a white sky, and then the ground wasn't there. I threw myself down and dug in with both elbows. The line burned my gloves. Peer into that chasm and you could see a blue that had never known the sun. She dangled, her palms flat against the ice, fingertips bleeding a thin silver that steamed in the air. Cut me loose, she said, quiet and calm. You will not hold me and the storm. Shut up, I said, because fear makes me rude. Hold. Kick. The line bit my rib cage like a hand. We rose an inch, then another. The edge came up with us, unwilling to let go, until finally the lip broke and we fell backward together into a drift so soft it felt like forgiveness. In the lock, breath hitting metal, Seya leaned her head against my shoulder. The fins along her neck unfurled in a trembling fan. I have lived 3 cycles here, she said. My clan believes distance is honor. We say the heart is a sealed room. We say warmth wastes you. We say love is a thaw that kills. And you? Yes. Her eyes lifted to mine. In them the coil's light made small auroras. I am so tired, she whispered, voice sanded down by the storm and the years. Tired of endless cold. Of waiting for the ice to give back what it keeps. I wrapped the survival blanket around us both. Crinkled like leaves. The heat grew by degrees until my hands stung. Seya's skin under my palm was not fragile at all. It was strong and strange and alive, and when she exhaled, the mist ribboned and disappeared between us. One night is enough, she whispered, and the words were a vow and a plea. One night to remember warmth. One night to choose a different life. We didn't make promises we couldn't keep inside that blanket. We told stories. I told her about the river back home that smelled like wet iron in summer, about darting minnows in the shallows and the way the city's lights made the water look like spilled stars. She told me about diving beneath the shelf as a child, chasing sound through pillars of blue, about her mother's hands pressing glacier fruit into pockets lined with fur, about the songs her clan sang to teach their children not to break. We slept in turns, upright, leaning into each other so if one of us drifted the other would not fall. At first light, the storm's pale, exhausted sibling, we walked to the ridge above the outpost. The world stretched away in tiers of blue and white. The sky was a hard enamel bowl. Far off, a leaf of metal cut the air. A trader's shuttle, feeling for a flyway, following the renewed beacon's steady call. Seya held a small stone in her palm, one of the warm shrine pieces. We press our summers into these, she said. Carry them when we go. Will you go? Yes. She closed her fingers around the stone. Your ship has space. For as long as you like, I said, stupidly honest.